What's going on, guys? I hope you're all having a fantastic night. Happy Tuesday. It's June 6th. We are halfway through the year. Kind of crazy to even think that. But a lot of things happen over the course of a year. And a lot of things can happen over the course of a month or the course of just a couple of weeks. And from my experience here tonight, I have the privilege of bringing someone onto this call who, for the past 2 weeks, for me personally, I have seen just absolutely crush it. When I think about people that succeed in life or succeed in business, there's usually a lot of clues that are left behind that are easy for other people to pick up. Now, if you pay attention and you take notes, and then you start to see those clues and then put them into practice, you'll start to see certain things in your life start to change. And I've always been a huge advocate of being around people that have the results that you want, and being in a coachable mindset. And what I mean by that is, if you see someone who has the things that you want, or if you see someone achieving the actions that you believe you can also duplicate, then it's important to start to get around that energy and be around that frequency and see exactly how that specific individual starts to do those things. So tonight, I feel super blessed to have been able to reach out to someone who's been absolutely crushing it. And I couldn't just like sit here and not hear that individual story. I couldn't sit here and not see what her secret was to mass onboarding. Now, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're watching this live, watching this on YouTube or recording, the ideas, the concepts, the things we're talking about tonight are universal across any type of platform for the most part. And what I mean by that is that entrepreneurship takes a special type of person. And tonight you're going to not only hear the story behind an individual who has completely taken her life into her own hands, has broken out of what some would call the matrix, and just completely taken her life by storm because she was able to identify what she wanted. She understood what it took. And then she ended up putting those things together and doing the most courageous thing that any single person could do when starting their own business. And that is take action. You guys hear me talk about it all the time. The root of courage is simply moving your feet. And so tonight I feel really excited to bring this individual up. We have Miss Cristina Becker on the call tonight. I'm going to add the spotlight. Cristina, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I hope that's okay with you. But first and foremost, I'm going to remove my spotlight before we have like a little open conversation here. This way we can kind of like maybe even role play for some people that, you know, don't know how to handle certain situations. We can get to that in a little bit. But first and foremost, I would love for you to just share your story, share your background, whatever you're comfortable with, and kind of lay the foundation for us so we can see who exactly is this young woman. So with that being said, I'm going to let you have the floor. I'm going to remove my spotlight, and I would love to hear your story.
Wow. Thank you, guys. I'm so excited because this is something that these are skill sets that I have developed over a very long period of time. Over the last 2 years, I have been a part of this industry. But my story starts back when I was 15. And for reference, I'm 21. Okay. So this isn't like way back when, right? This is like 5 years ago. But so when I was 15, my parents separated, and I come from a family of money. Okay. So like my family has money. Like I always knew that I would be financially set, or so I thought. And when I was 15, like my parents got divorced, and I started seeing somebody who was like dealing drugs, like super not good for me. Right. I ended up going to rehab when I was 15. I came back, and the relationship with my parents just like didn't rekindle itself. And so at that point, I decided that I would prefer to be homeless than to live with my family. So when I was 16, still in high school, obviously, I started living in my car. And I did end up actually graduating high school 6 months early. I graduated high school, and because I was living in my car, I was like, you know, there's really no point in me staying where I'm at. I live in Lincoln, Nebraska. So there's like, it's corn and cows. Like that's it. And so I decided to take my car, and I started traveling around the US. And at some point, whatever, I came back and I became a server at a Mexican restaurant. And my mom's Hispanic, so I don't like feel weird saying this, but as a white female in that type of establishment, like it can be very toxic. And so at some point, you know, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I quit my job and I just went all in. And the first company that I joined wasn't this one. I've been a part of this company for about 6 months or so. But the first company that I joined, it was kind of the same concept, right? Like network marketing, trading and investing. And in my family, like I understood the power of trading and investing because my grandpa is like super into stock. So I knew that it was possible. You just have to get educated on it, right? And because of my story, I wasn't getting help from my family. Like this is something that I literally built from the ground up. And today I'm super excited because I get to show you guys literally exactly how I went from zero to being #1 recruiter in the entire company.
I love that. I love that. So what I would love to do is first and foremost, congrats. Your story is super powerful. The most important thing that I've seen over my past couple of years of growth in entrepreneurship or direct sales or leading teams or just becoming a better person is understanding that we all come from different walks of life. And if you can start to find common ground with people, whether you're a billionaire or you're broke, I believe that this is the true secret to not only relationship building, but also creating bridges and paths of success and wealth. So to hear your story is going to be super powerful for a lot of people that, come from tough situations. And so I appreciate you sharing that first and foremost, but definitely want to get into a little bit. So you said you've been in the industry for a little while, so you definitely know how to communicate with people. What is your main source of, let's say, marketing or promotion? Where do you take your energy? Are you making flyers and tucking them in windows on car doors? Or what's your secret right now? Where do you put your energy?
Okay, so basically, I pull all of my prospects from TikTok. I have around 250,000 followers on TikTok, and around, I think I hit 14K today actually on Instagram. And every single one of my Instagram followers has literally come from TikTok. And the cool thing about TikTok, unlike Instagram, where it's always the same, like 3 people from your high school or your family members commenting on it, TikTok reaches globally. And a lot of times, like we talk about niching down, using hashtags, all that stuff, but especially in the industry that we are in, the financial industry solves a lot of problems in the world, right? Like 40 to 60% of marriages end because of financial problems, right? So understanding the reach that you can have with TikTok and understanding how to take those prospects and convert them into sales without people feeling like they are being sold to is like life-changing. And if you're not using TikTok, like, I don't know what you're doing, but that's going to change today, right? That's going to change today.
Amen. Literally, it's so funny you say that because I have had people, they're like, Sal, you're good at this, you're good at this, you're good at this. Why aren't you making TikToks? So I'm like, oh my gosh, I just like, Cristina, you're 21. I'm about to be 29. I feel like a grandpa. And I'm like, am I supposed to be on TikTok? Like, I don't know. But it works. So you said something really important, selling people or providing information that is sales oriented without feeling salesy. Talk to me a little bit about this.
So we live in a time, right, where people love to consume, like they love to consume. And a lot of times, like when you think about brands that you love, right, it's not necessarily the clothing that you're buying into, it's the brand. Like you see your friend wearing whatever, Nike, Adidas, Lululemon, right? And you're not buying it because of the clothes, you're buying it because of what you think those types of brands are going to like allow you to be viewed as a person.
It's a status thing.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And I feel like I am a total brand loyalist. So like whether it's Apple products or like you said, Adidas, like when I'm all in, I'm all in. And it becomes natural for me to share those things. I don't have any sponsorships with Adidas or the On Cloud tech shoes. Like I love those. And you'll see me promoting stuff like that on my story, but I don't make any money off of that. So when you're making these TikToks, and let's just keep it simple here. We're in the investment space. Okay. When you're doing these TikToks, are you, let's say, showing maybe the process of what it takes to invest? Are you showing education? What is it that you think is most attracted to a consumer that might be interested in the investment space?
So one of the things that I show the most on my TikTok, and it has taken me really, really far, is one of the softwares that we offer, Manara, right? Like, we live in a time where AI is everywhere. And I literally saw yesterday that Apple's coming out with these like goggles, right? You can see, yeah. And so people are really starting to understand, like, okay, AI is coming out. How can I leverage it? Because what happens is, especially back like when the internet first came out, the people that made fun and didn't hop on board missed the opportunity, right? And so now, if you understand that you're going to miss the opportunity if you do not hop on board, like, you need to be taking the opportunity when it comes to AI, because this, like, the time that you are living in, like, we're not going to get that opportunity again, right? So I talk about Manara all the time, and I think a lot of times, like, when it comes to talking about the softwares or whatever, like specifically in companies like this, like, people gatekeep the products. Why are you telling people that it doesn't take very much time, but you're not taking the time to show them how it works, right?
Completely.
So a lot of it comes down to AI. I really leverage AI because of the time that we're living in. And another one is breaking down the numbers. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a very visual learner. You can't just tell someone, oh, you can make this much money. Okay, but how? Why? What's the percentage? What can I start with? You know, a lot of people want to make $1 million or whatever, have these big visions, but you don't start big, you start small. So you have to break down and really give them the step-by-step of how they're going to go from nothing to whatever the goal is that they're trying to achieve.
Beautiful. And I think that you mentioned something very important, giving someone kind of like a blueprint of, hey, how do I make this relative to me, right? We bring this back to the very beginning of the call. How do we create relativity? There's nothing worse than watching a piece of information or consuming some type of content that makes it feel untouchable, right? You see someone that's like super successful, instantly a normal person could have the mindset that hasn't been trained or developed to say, I can't achieve that. That person's maybe whatever they want to say, better than me, stronger than me, more experienced than me, whatever kind of excuse they come up with. So that's really important, to be able to put out content where people can gauge success from their own experience and point of view, whether that means you're putting out content that shows account sizes that are relative to an average person's account size. That's huge. Why am I teaching people how to make $10,000 in a week if they don't have an account size that can replicate that? Doesn't make much sense. They realize that's untangible for them, or intangible, excuse me. And it's just not really a realistic gauge mark for them to move forward with. So that was awesome. Now, something that is on the forefront of everyone's mind. Let's say that you put out a piece of content on social media, on TikTok, a video of you explaining the process or whatever it might be for you. Hey, I'm using Manara. This is my account size. This is how I utilize these tools. And this was the result of it. Boom, maybe a 30-second TikTok and 45 seconds. Not sure, not the expert. But let's say that was the type of content, right? How are you then, because we all know, like you said, it has a global reach. How do you, one, manage, and two, convert? Because I can see that being maybe a little bit stressful. How do you weed out the BS? Like the people who are kind of just like, oh, I want information real quick. And like, then you end up spending 30 to 45 minutes maybe talking to them, and it's a fluke, right? It's just some kid across the world or some person around the world with no real tenacity or hunger to actually get involved. So one, how do you manage that? And then two, how do you convert it?
Okay, so there's a couple things that like play into this. The first one is every single time I post, like specifically a TikTok where I'm trying to convert prospects, I always post a hook. I always like give value that somehow targets their emotion, because emotion is what makes people tick. And I always have a call to action. Always, always, always. Like, you literally have to tell people what to do. They're not just going to follow you. Like, they're just going to scroll, right? TikTok especially is a, like, people want to be entertained with TikTok, right? So if you do not catch them quick, they're on to the next. Like, they do not care, right? But once I start getting those views on TikTok, and of course I have all of my TikTok DMs off, I send them to my Instagram. I use the Boards app. And for those of you that don't know what Boards is, it's an app where you can literally like write out messages that you like want. And all you do, you can connect it to your keyboard and you can just go through and it literally just pastes, right? And my inbox is like super, super full. And like you said, you know, how do you wean out those people that are really not serious? Regardless, you're always going to get people that aren't serious. And like, especially in our industry, you can't have people that are under the age of 18, right? So you have to get really good at getting through the people who are serious. I sign people up in 3 to 4 messages and I contact this, every single person the exact same way. And I don't know, like, do you want me to give out like my scripts?
Whatever you feel comfortable doing, you're more than welcome to do. I don't want you to do anything you don't feel comfortable doing. So yeah, if you're like, you want to give an example, that's totally, I'm sure people will love that.
Yeah. So when people first reach out to me, right, sometimes they have questions, whatever the case may be. The very first thing I say is, hey, sorry, I'm just now finding the time to reach back because sometimes it takes me a day or two, right? I would love to help you out. And especially if they're coming to you with a lot of questions, I'm not going to waste my time in answering them immediately because like I have other messages to get to, right? So I would love to help you out. I'm assuming you're at least 18 because I can't help you if you're under the age of 18. You cannot open a broker in your name, right? And where are you located? Because we know specifically that there are certain products that you cannot use based on your location, right? So they always respond. They give me their age and their location. And I'm like, cool, awesome. The second thing that I say is, have you watched the Join My Team highlight? And I don't know specifically what all of you guys do like in presentation of the product, but I broke down the presentation that I was provided with. It was about 25 minutes and I broke it down into 3 minutes. We have to understand that people, I mean, in my generation, I know we're all like different generations here, but people don't have a very big attention span, right? It's very small. So you have to make sure that you are putting visual stuff on the screen, like you're showing Manara or whatever it is, right? And you're putting that up on the screen for them to see and really see, okay, this isn't just a girl like sitting in her living room telling me about this, that, and the other thing. Cool. Once they have watched the highlight, they will come back and be like, you know, this is what I'm interested in. And I used to say, okay, do you have 10 minutes now for a video call to get started? I'm not going to hop on a video call with you if you are not ready to get started. That is a waste of my time. I have other people to get to, right? Or would you rather me just send you the link to get started? You have to understand that in this generation, again, a lot of people have anxiety. So once they see that you're offering them a call, they're going to be like, 50% of them are going to be like, okay, this chick is legit. Like she's offering me a call, right? And the other 50% are going to be like, just send me the link. Like I honestly, I don't really want to get on a call with you, right?
Right.
But like recently, I haven't had as much time to hop on calls with that many people. So once they say that they're interested, I just say, perfect, here's the link to get started. Please do it as soon as possible. Once you're registered, send me a screenshot of your confirmation so that I can send you my number and guide you on the next step. I send them my link, they send me a screenshot, and I onboard them. That's simple. One of the things that, just really quick, one of the things that I want to say is like, you have to learn to shut up, and just listen to the people. Like when I hop on calls with people, I say, obviously you've watched the Join My Team highlight. What questions do you have for me? Stop talking and only answer the questions that they ask. Like you don't need to go into an explanation of every single product and service. You already did that in the highlight. Answer the questions they have. And at the end of the call, you say, would you rather me send you the link on Instagram? Or would you rather me send you the link on Telegram or your number, or whatever the case may be? It's not a matter of, do you want the link? Do you not want the link? Like, no, I just spent 10 minutes of my time on a call with you where you're getting the link. Is it on Instagram or is it on Telegram?
I love that. That is, you know what? Urgency, concise, direct to the point. That is what we're looking for. Guys, as we're going through here, if you guys have questions, feel free to type them into the chat and I can obviously Cristina can read, but I can also read them off. So because the playback won't have the chat involved, and we'll, get your questions out there as well. So Cristina, I need to ask, if you're onboarding, let's say, at this point, it looks like 50 plus people a week. If you're in that type of position, how do you balance your time?
You have to create a schedule for yourself. I wake up at 5:30 a.m. every single day. I go to the gym first thing every single day because it allows me to conquer something first thing in my day. very first thing in my day. And I feel like I have achieved that for myself. And it's not somebody else relying on me or me doing that for someone else. It's literally me showing up for myself first thing in the day, right? As soon as I come home, I start getting through the messages. And usually like because I have a lot of messages. So I'll be like, okay, I'm going to go all the way down and come up to like 15 hours ago or whatever, and kind of let those flood through. And as those messages come through, I filter out those people. And I onboard obviously the people that sign up, but you have to create systems for yourself. Like regardless of what it is, with TikTok, I batch create content. There's a system that I have where I sit down, I literally I switch my shirt. Okay. And you can tell sometimes because you'll be like you're sitting in the same background, you're just like switching off your shirt. But you have to create systems for everything. I have a system for TikTok. I have a system for how I get back to my DMs. I have a system for how I onboard people. I have system calls that I have done to make sure that I keep the retention that I can keep with my team, right? Because you can onboard as many people as you want, but if your retention is ass, you're going to lose all the people that you just signed up. So retention is more important than trying to sign up.
I agree. Because otherwise you're just burning energy. Left and right. Okay. Yeah. You might make, a couple of bucks on an instant commission, but that's not where real money is made. Real money is made on establishing a strong network, a strong foundation of resubscribers. No matter what business model you're using, the subscription-based model is what's taking over. Affiliate business is everywhere. If you're promoting things online and you don't have a link to whatever, an Amazon storefront, whatever it may be, you're just giving away free advertisement. We all learn more or see more through social media platforms than we do on commercials or wherever else. I mean, I can't tell you last time I saw a commercial. It was probably during the Super Bowl when the Kansas City Chiefs beat my Eagles. So, it was tough, but that's something that's huge. And I'm glad you said that. Now, Mr. Roy here in the chat. Let's go Chiefs. Lenny, don't hit me with that. What's the worst objection you dealt with when bringing someone on board? What do you see? Maybe not even the worst, but what do you feel is the most common?
Shoot, oh, I don't have money. Oh, I'm super busy. There's so many popular ones. And a lot of times, people come in and they're like, you need to prove yourself to me. First of all, me specifically, I have so many DMs to get back to that, I'm not going to put up with that shit.
I agree.
But I understand that not everybody's in the same, area in business. But the one, and I have the script right here, I had a guy hit me up and he was like, I'm going to bring in all these people. First of all, his account wasn't very professional. So, whatever the case may be. But he was like, I don't have the time, whatever. And this is what I send. I've sent this multiple times. All I say is I'm not the type to sit here and convince. All I know is you resonated with me, and maybe it wasn't for you to join my team, but so that I can tell you that there's plenty of people in the trading space who can help you become successful in it. But I promise none of them are going to do it for you, and neither will I. Scared money don't make money, but listen to yourself first always. Literally every single time I send that, they're like, okay, please sign me up.
That's honestly great. I love that. Love that.
Don't chase your prospects. I see so many people that are like, oh my gosh, I've had this one prospect that I've been, talking to for 4 months, and tomorrow we're going to hop on a call, and let it go. Seriously, spend your time going and making content and bringing in more people, and let go of that one person if they're making excuses.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to touch on that because I see both perspectives very well. There's one thing about chasing someone who isn't a self-starter, right? That's not that. So I want to make emphasis on this. Cristina is not saying don't chase someone that isn't worth it. And what I mean by that is Tanner and I have had some of our biggest sales acquisitions, when it comes to constantly following up with people of value. When you're looking just to maybe, get a sale here or there or build your team one by one, and your value, then yes, I agree. You don't need to go out chasing people, trying to convince them of their dream if they don't have a dream. But again, if someone is good at this, if someone is influential or has a market or has a team and they need what you have, some of my biggest onboardings, 1,200 person plus onboardings inside of 3 to 4 days were because of work that I put in 6 months ago. So that's something I've learned from Jose directly, that guy can keep a relationship with you. You can tell him no a million times, but he will keep that relationship going. He will call you. He will keep that energy up, and he will ask how you're doing. Okay. And like, I can't say no to the guy because he's so he loves people. He loves people, and you can tell that. So that's a great point, because what you said has to do with posture and confidence when someone's reaching out to you. But if you're actively recruiting, a stud or a whale, then obviously it's not just always going to happen on the first conversation. Right. I'll tell you this: if you try to recruit me to your company, you ain't closing my ass on the first conversation. And so when you talk to people that know what they're doing, you have to follow up too and be strong with it. But for someone like you who's mass producing content and has a bunch of people flooding your inbox, then yes, do not chase a sale that you could be spending that time otherwise adding to the value, the catalog, the content, whatever it might be. So that's a great point, and I really appreciate you bringing that up. I always thought it was kind of funny because I feel like you've been in the space long enough where we have seen package prices way higher than what we have going on here. Let's talk to maybe some people that are on the team right now that might not have the most experience, or maybe experience with any other software services that had a higher ticket price. What do you think when you see the value for the ticket price here with what you're doing specifically?
I get both sides of this in my DMs. And especially because I do a lot of like one-on-ones with my team and stuff. And if you see the way that I post on my stories, I will literally record my one-on-ones and I will use those as testimonials, because it's not me. It's very genuine, very personal. People can see like, okay, these are actual customers, because not all of them are like doing marketing, right? And that's a big one. Oh, you're just, making money, whatever. But these are like actual customers that I am posting testimonials on my story. And there was a girl that I posted the other day, and she was talking about, I would pay this price literally for one product. And especially coming from the company where I came from, I paid like $2,500 for education. Like, that wasn't software. I didn't have mentorship. And like I said earlier, you have to understand like the time that we're in to be able to take advantage of what is going on here for literally the price of dinner. Like, be for real. You know what I'm saying? They're like that excuse, the money excuse. Honestly, like when it comes to excuses, people are lying to you. It's like priorities are never in conflict, never, ever, ever. So you just either didn't explain it well, they don't see the value, but like the excuse, priorities are never in conflict, right?
Amen. I feel the same way. Kind of like your little posture text, I would always hit people, and I do it all the time on opportunity calls or info calls. I'll hit people with if you can't see yourself pouring $150 out over the course of a month for information that could potentially change your life for the price of a bar tab, then you're probably not someone I want to work with anyway. And that might hurt some feelings, but guess what? I'd rather hurt feelings and find my ace than cater to everyone and, make sure everyone's feelings are intact, and then baby people, because what we're doing right now, for us specifically, again, if anyone's watching this in the future, this is applicable across all types of sales or entrepreneurship. But the position that we're in, Cristina, right now, pioneering something not only in the United States, but a global movement, it requires a certain level of an individual to be a self-starter. So I want to ask you, what did it take on the sacrifice level, on the mental level, the emotional level, to essentially make the sacrifices necessary to put you in the path to achieve your goals specifically?
I think a lot of times, like, and I don't necessarily think it's specifically this industry, but like this get rich quick type of situation that goes on. Yeah, it's a lot easier here because you have leverage here for a super cheap price, like you were talking about. But you have to make sacrifices. Like this year, I literally told my family, I was like, I am headed in a direction in my life that I don't feel like I am getting the support that I need from you guys. And because of that, I'm going to have to let you guys go, and not forever, but for the time being. And that was one of the hardest things that I had to do, especially after all of the things that I've been through, specifically with my family. So like, you have to understand that sacrifices need to be made. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like, sacrifices on all levels have to be made. Like, I don't want to get up every single day and go to the gym. Like, no, thank you. Some days I'm a little more excited, like I have an energy drink, but I don't want to get up every day and go to the gym, right? I do a lot of one-on-one calls with my team. Sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm like, ugh, do I really want to do this today? And like, I love my team. I've built relationships with a lot of them. Like, they make really good money, whatever the case may be, like past profits do not guarantee future gains. Just because I know this is recorded. But like, sacrifices have to be made. And especially as a leader, how are you going to tell your team or, whatever, like your friends, your acquaintances, like, hey, you have to make sacrifices to get in life when you're not making them. You have to lead by example, and like, sacrifices are just a part of the process. And at the end of the day, that's what makes you grow. That's what makes you stronger. So this, like, there's no shortcuts, like trying to take the easy way out. It's not a thing. It's not a thing.
Nope. And what you just said reminds me, one of my mentors said, pace of the leader, pace of the pack. If your people won't do anything that you're not already doing. Taking pictures of those one-on-ones, taking pictures of DMs, taking pictures of calls. I know Tanner and I do this all the time. It's not to be like, oh, we're working. It's to show our people that we're never going to ask them to do something that we're not already doing. And so this instantly leads me to my next question. And again, you let me know, we're coming up on 30 minutes or so. I don't want to take too much of your time, but what does, or have you ever put yourself in a position to do like a full-on 90-day blitz? If so, what did that do for you in your life? Whether it was here, whether it was in another venture, it doesn't really matter what the vehicle was. A 90-day blitz, what is that to you? And has it done things for you if you have?
Oof, this is such a loaded question. Okay, I feel like every single time, like, I've attempted the 75 hard, and I'm not going to say that no, it did not go well for me. I mean, it did at the beginning, but
I'm on day 64 right now.
Nuh-uh. Hey,
let's go.
Yeah, congrats to you. You better drink your gallon of water, right? Because it's day 74.
Done.
Yeah. But it comes back to like sacrifice. A lot of times, like, people come over to my house or they invite me out to do something, and it's just like, I can't, like, I'm focused, and people that aren't necessarily on that level of focus don't understand. And this is where it's really important to surround yourself with people who are trying to move in the same direction. It doesn't have to be the same company. It doesn't have to be the same goals, but you have and are trying to help each other develop that mindset. Because it's very much like the crab in the bucket analogy. Like, the crab is trying to get out of the bucket and all the other crabs pull him down, right? And so this is where surrounding yourself with people who actually want to see you grow and is so important. Like, the energy that you surround yourself with in every aspect of life, because we know that I don't want to say like negative is more powerful than positive, but negative is more so everywhere than positive is. And it's really, really, really easy to get sucked in.
Oh, yeah.
So I would say, like, if you're going to start something that is whatever, like the 75 hard or 90-day run, like, make sure that you are putting yourself in proximity with people who have that mindset and really actually want to see you succeed instead of pulling you back into the bucket. For
sure. That is accountability partners. It's something that I attribute so much of our success to. I don't know if you know Tanner and I's story. It's time for a story for another time, but if you ever hear, us talk about it, we always attribute so much of our success to one another. And I think that that's part of the reason why we continue to attract success. People that are all like, "Ooh, look at me, look what I've done." That's not an attractive thing. At least to me, the look at my shiny shit thing is not for me. So I love that you said that, because I believe that Tanner and I wouldn't have never had any of the success that we've had throughout many avenues of our life, if it wasn't that we were constantly on each other. It was constantly reaffirming that we're good at this, even on bad days or terrible presentations, or when I'm not feeling great. He's like, dude, you did great. You did well. Like, you have a skill. Like, this is what you do. And then we sit there and we talk about the things we're going to achieve, the goals we're going to smack, the people we're going to help. And we constantly reaffirm that. And we believe that those late nights where we're sitting crisscross applesauce on the floor, DMing people, going crazy on Instagram, we believe that when we talk about these things, we truly have like a superpower to bring them to life, because we've seen it happen for us so many times. And I don't believe that's a unique attribute to Tanner Clapperich or Sal Fox. I believe that is a result of people who are constantly on a certain frequency. And when you're on that frequency for so long with multiple people, it becomes infectious, and then it starts to grow and grow and grow. So we have a question that says, how long have you been with the company, current rank, for lack of better terms, and how's your retention? Do you feel comfortable answering those questions? We don't have to talk specifically about money, but maybe some goals or what you've been able to achieve in X amount of time, yada, yada, yada.
And this is coming from, like, I have not always been good with recruiting. Like, I was actually so bad at recruiting, like, for my last company. And I don't know if it's because maybe I didn't 100% believe in the products, and like, I made money with the products. So I'm not saying that they don't work. Okay. But it was really hard for me to have retention. And like I said earlier, retention is more important than how many people you're bringing in specifically for the sales. Right. But with EA, I've been here about 6 months. And currently I'm 3K. I'm about to be 5K. So like,
let's go. That's a full ass time income, over 60 G's a year. Like, that's, I mean, our teachers in this country don't even make that. So congrats to you. Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But I have been making 6 figures in trading since the last company. So like that, I'm not just making money off of the commission and all that. And then just recently my retention hit 93%, which is like actually insane. And the reason that my retention is 93% is because not only do I really, really put in time in actually getting to know my team once they're on the team, okay, not in my DMs, once they're on the team and building that rapport with them. But I host a Tuesday call every single Tuesday where we go over how Monaro works, and we actually take trades together from Monaro. And then every single weekend I send out like the call list for one-on-one calls where I hop on 30-minute one-on-one calls, like literally all Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you might be like, Cristina, like that's a lot of your time. And a lot of people on my team are like, Cristina, you need to stop spending so much time doing that because it's a lot of your time. But there's a reason that my retention is 93%. And those are sacrifices that I am willing to make for my people at this point in time to build what I am building and to create or to bring to reality the vision that I have for these people.
Honestly, you said it perfectly, because we have caught so much heat in the past. You're not doing this right. You're giving too much of your time. You need to leverage. You need to be the guy. I'm sorry, but like I that's not me. People can put whatever kind of title they want on me or Tanner or any other quote unquote leader. That's fine. You can see another person how you want to see. That's your opinion. But me, I believe what you believe. And I believe, based off of what I've seen happen in my life, that you will see very similar results and even more, because you're showing that you care. You're doing the Gary Vee thing. You're doing the Taylor Swift thing. What that means is, hey, Taylor, can you come play at my my wedding? Can you sing a song at my wedding? Taylor Swift has been known to do this. Shout out to Taylor. She's a hometowner, go Eagles, Philly, what's up? All right. So Taylor Swift, she does something that's not time effective, not cost effective, not monetarily effective up front. But what it does is it creates residual power in her fan base, and her people and the people that consume her information and music. So when she pulls up to a wedding for free, what she does is she shows her heart. She shows her caringness. She shows that she's willing to put her precious multi-million-dollar time on the line on your special day. And whether a 30-minute call is the same as that or not, I don't really care how people view that. To me, you're going out of your way to show someone else that you care. And let's be honest, no one gives a shit about you until they know that you care about them. That's real life, guys. I have one question here in the chat. How do you bring, because I haven't answered this one too, but we'll ask this one for Cristina, and then I'll wrap it up with my sum up question as we approach the hour mark here. But how do you bring in someone from another industry that's a top tier level without having them leave?
I think that, and I mean, like you said earlier, you can't like recruit leaders the way that you recruit everybody else. Like leaders don't like to be recruited. You really have to go and build that relationship over time. Like go into their, not necessarily like, don't be like popping into their DMs at first, like go comment on their stuff, follow them, go, like they will do it back. They will reciprocate because we're all a part of the industry. Like I'm just saying, if you're specifically targeting somebody in the industry, but you actually have to build rapport. Like you can't recruit leaders, okay? Especially like you would just recruit someone that's coming from TikTok. So you really have to spend the time and like sacrifice your time for a period of time to build that relationship. You don't just get to run into their DMs and be like, yo, my products are better than yours. Like come, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So just be patient. And really like be genuine with the comments. Don't go in their comment section and like comment like the freaking monkey emoji, or like be genuine.
Fire,
and like say something that's actually maybe about like the what's it called, the caption that they posted, or like the dress that they were wearing, or like something that nobody else has commented in their comment section, because people pay attention, especially leaders. They pay attention and they will see that.
When you see someone leave a massive caption and then you go through and you pull something that was said later on in that caption, first of all, that individual knows how that caption was structured. Two, if you pulled something from the bottom or the mid section of that, the meat and potatoes, they're going to know that you, one, indulged in their content, two, took the time out, and three, actually processed a thought out comment. Whether that's reciprocated in a response DM instantly or not, it is noted. And I completely agree with what you just said there. And like I said before, Tanner and I have got some of our biggest fish 4, 5, 6 months down the road. They've blocked us, they've unblocked us. They ask us for information and they tell us to kick rocks. They say, oh, that actually looks pretty cool, but no, I'm happy over here. And then eventually, it gets to that point where it's like, okay, this guy, this girl, they're consistent. They're working, and that's the type of energy a real leader wants to be around, because it's production-based, right? So it's effort-based. And if you're putting in that constant effort is equivalent to energy, and energy is contagious. So like I said, it all comes back down to action. So Cristina, as we start to wrap it up here, we're on that 45-minute mark. I have to ask you, Jose would disown me if I didn't ask you this question. Okay. What are your goals, not only for you personally in the next 30, 60, 90 year, whatever it may be, but what would you like to see this movement achieve for maybe the common person?
Like through the products, or just like what I want to be able to help people achieve?
Both.
Okay, so again, very loaded question. Because of the background that I come from, like I always understood what it was like to have money, but I have also understood what it is like to have absolutely nothing, especially because I was living in my car when COVID happened. So like everything closed down at night. Like I literally couldn't go shit or pee anywhere. Like I was literally peeing in a container. No, like I'm being for real,
No, I appreciate that.
And I want to be able to help people that like really, really, really struggle at that level. And specifically like not necessarily like being homeless, but like struggle with drugs or struggle with addiction and that type of stuff. And I think like how I said earlier, money solves a lot of problems in the world, and I want to be able to help people like that. And I have been able to, like, especially through my TikTok. I had somebody in the UK who reached out to me who was actually homeless, and I ended up getting him started on the platform. I flew out to the UK. We got him a bike. We got him a job. We moved him into an apartment. Like, this is really like what I want to do with my life. And it's not just about selling a product or a service to people. It's like really giving people the vision to believe in themselves when they don't think that that's possible for them anymore.
Amen. I love that answer. And what you just heard is that Cristina buys into putting people first. If we all on this call or on this recording, whoever's watching this in the future, buys into the concept that if you put the people first, you will have wheelbarrows of money coming in. And that's a Jim Rohn thing. That's something that our mentors have taught us. And that's something that we buy into. If you're here just for you, you'll end up being in last place. That's just the sad truth of it. So Cristina, now that you've said what you want for everyone, what would you like to see for yourself? Maybe, having massive success here, would that allow you to step into other investment opportunities, other industries? Do you have, aspirations or goals to become, the world's next fill in the blank, right? Where do you see yourself?
So a goal for me for a very long time, like I have always really loved to travel. And so I want to get real estate all over the world where I would want to travel to and like Airbnb it out or like provide it to people who are homeless and to be able to create a shelter for them, and be able to travel the world and create that freedom for myself. And especially again, because of like what I have been through, like I really am not running after the money because I understand that happiness really comes from inner peace, and you don't need money to find inner peace. Really, you need yourself, and you need to build a relationship with yourself and follow through with yourself every single day, even when other people aren't holding you accountable. So, staying true to myself, staying true to who I am, and just finding peace in every single process that I can in life. That is my goal, more so over anything that I can do like financially for myself, if that makes
Hell
sense.
yeah. That makes perfect sense. And to wrap it up, what would you tell the newest person? Piece of advice
Oh Lord.
in
Um,
business, in here, in team building, whatever it may be. What kind of advice would you give someone?
Hold yourself accountable. Don't expect other people to, or don't put it on other people to hold you accountable. Like in life, in business, people are going to come and go from your life. And at the end of the day, the only person that you have is yourself. Like regardless, you're born and you die with yourself. So stay authentic. Do not sell your authenticity, because that's all you have.
Amen. I love that answer. I really do. And I would also say, stay close to the fire, guys. Stay close to who, like she said from the get-go, proximity. Be around people that are going to help elevate you. That's so, so, so important. Coming up on the 50-minute mark here, Cristina, I want to thank you so much for just hopping on, sharing your story, super powerful and like super transparent. And I'm really glad that you're the first person I ran this call with. Again, this is the first time I've done this in over a year and a half. And I think it went so freaking well, just from like reading the chat box and seeing everyone's expression, hearing some of the questions, and then also seeing like you as like a real person, right? Not just like on Instagram or TikTok. And I can't believe you're 21 because just from our conversations through DMs, I'm like, okay, I thought you had been like my age, or something. Like you're super mature, and I'm super motivated by your ability to take action. And that's something, like I said, we like to share. Action takers, they say action takers are money makers, right? Note takers are money makers. I hope you guys all got something out of this. I know that I did. I'm going to be putting this up on YouTube, so you guys can all check it out. Send it to people that one can resonate with Cristina, that can see her goals, that have been through tough times, that need to find some type of excitement or heart in what they do. We've all been lost, and we will all continue to be lost at some point over our life. They say that in life, you're either in a storm, on your way to a storm, or on your way out of a storm. And so you cannot live by the cheers if you're going to die by the booze. You have to stay level-headed, and you have to just move through these things with excitement, but also a level of groundedness. And I think that it is inevitable that no matter what path that you take, Cristina, you will make a change in many people's lives. And I believe that will result in fantastic things happening to your life and the people that you like to share your life with. So I want to thank you so much for hopping on the call. I look forward to following your success, and we're going to have a follow-up call in a couple months so we can kind of gauge exactly what you've been doing now that you're like full throttle and really crushing it and like have your systems down. I really want to see your progress because I have an idea of where it's going. So I'm really excited for you. And again, thank you so much. It's nothing but peace and love, guys. I look forward to seeing you guys on our next call. And I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week. Thank you again, Cristina.